Hey, look at this. I got a crack in my windshield. Not cool. Yeah, well, it's a tiny pock mark, crack, starting to crack a little bit, and I'm going to try to fix it. Yeah, pardon all these burns on my face. I went to the dermatologist today, and you should too. But look, this kit has in it a little disc that you put on your windshield, some of this resin that you put in the crack. It's got an alcohol prep pad. It's got a syringe to do a little vacuum thing, and it tells you not to do it in direct sunlight. It tells you to do it between 50 and 75 degrees, so this is a perfect day. Well, I'm going to get started here, and then I'm going to pull the truck underneath in the shade. I don't think it's a problem. I think this is perfect to do it right here because well, it's still winter, you know, so it's not hot. It's a good day temperature-wise, and I don't think that has anything to do with the sun, but rather the temperature. So look, it's got this adhesive pad, right, and this disc right here is going to go on the windshield, and they say put that tab up. I'm going to adhere it with this little sticky pad, and I'm going to put this little tab upwards, and then through that little channel right there is where I'm going to shoot that packet of resin. But there's a method you use to draw a vacuum with this. Okay, I pulled the backing off of this side of this, so this is sticky on this side, and I'm going to center it over my little crack. Right? That's about perfect. Yeah? Now I've already used a little, they give you a little push pin in here, and I've already used that to try to dig out any glass, you know, dust or glass. There's none in there to pick out of there. So now I'm going to, without putting too much pressure, I'm going to make sure that this is adhered to the windshield, which, as I said, is already cleaned with alcohol. But we don't want any air bubbles. We want to make sure it's a good seal right around there. Okay. Then I'm going to peel this off. Yeah, see, the sun is coming out, so I may pull this into the shade so it doesn't heat up too much. Okay, now we're going to put this guy, right on here, making sure that I've got good adhesion on there. Yeah, looks good. Okay, now I'm going to pull it under there. Some people will use just super glue, crazy glue, to fix the windshield. Just squirt it into the little crack. But what I'm using in this instance is this Permatex. I don't know one brand from the other, but this is a system or kit, and I thought I would try it. Let's continue on. I've got my truck under here, a little bit cooler, and I'm going to open this resin and put it down into the little thingy on there. Okay, so I've got my syringe. It's pushed all the way in. It's ready to go. I'm going to cut this back right about there. I'm going to bring this stuff over here. I'm going to be careful not to get this resin on my truck, right? And here we go. Let's set this right here. We're going to stick this thing in here. Okay, now you see that? It's sticking down in there. Now they tell you not to, well, in later stages, I'm supposedly going to use some of this resin, right? Leftover resin. But it says squirt the resin into the tube. So I'm just going to indiscriminately squirt that in there. I'm pushing that down in so it doesn't leak. Well, gee, it's a good thing I have my glasses on, because what if that stuff came flying, spitting out of there and hit you in the eye? You know, you don't want super glue in your eye, so think safety. That's not really working. So I'm going to pull that back a little bit. Okay. It looks like that went down in there. I'm going to look from the other side and see if I can see any of the liquid. Yeah, you know, I don't know about this. Kind of doesn't seem like it wants to go down in there. So I'm going to try to push it down in there to relieve any air gap. Seems to me there must be like a bubble down in there. You know what I mean? I don't know about this. Okay, I'm just making damn sure that that stuff's going down and hitting the windshield. Let's put a little more in there. Okay. I think that's probably good. All right, now you see how this has the two notches, this syringe? I'm supposed to put this down in here, right? And make sure it's a tight fit. I've cleaned around this edge. Make sure it's down in there, okay? Pushing it down in there. Nice and tight, right? Okay, and then I'm supposed to draw this up to the lowest notch, which will catch on this metal collar here, all right? So you're kind of drawing a vacuum. You see that stuff coming up? See that? Look, there's my bubble. Now I'm going to draw this up. That's not the easiest thing to do. I pulled it up to where it's caught on there. See that? Very interesting. There's definitely, there's tension, you know, so I know that's definitely got a vacuum going. I'm going to time this for 10 minutes. All right, time's up. Now I am supposed to take this out and let air into the syringe, okay? So that kind of released the vacuum. And I'm supposed to push this back in, right? And then really tight, get that snug, obviously, because I'm going to be pushing air. I'm going to be pushing pressure in there. Now I'm going to push this down to the lowest setting. I'm going to have to twist this a little bit. Okay. And push that down. Pop that in right there at the lowest setting. Now I'm creating pressure, and it's pushing that resin down into that crack. And I'm going to let this sit for 20 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. Here's what it looks like from the inside of the truck. I'm not sure that that stuff is going in my little crack in my windshield. I sure hope it is. I've come back out, I pulled the truck back out, and look at that. That is why they tell you to make sure it seals. And I did. I pushed that thing down, I cleaned that glass, and look at that. It's bubbling right out of there. So much for that, right? We'll see if it worked. I don't know. It's not looking good. By the way, this is for a tiny rock hit. This is not for a big spidering crack across your windshield. Obviously, you're going to have something that's no bigger than that tube is, really. Maybe 1/4 of an inch. That's the kind of crack you can stop from advancing, in theory, with super glue or resin like this. All right. So this is rather meaningless. You know, this is not doing anything. Our seal is broken. Look, I'm a homeowner doing this myself. I did it as per instructions. I cleaned the glass really well. I affixed this adhesive pad to the clean window, and then this disc to the adhesive pad. I pushed it around. Obviously I don't want to push so hard that I make my crack worse, you know, but look, in doing everything properly, that stuff still came out through there. Let's see, not all is not lost. All right, yeah, so the 20 minutes is up, and I'm going to utilize the one last thing that was included in the kit, and that is this curing strip, as they call it, a curing strip. So what I'm going to do is, you see, I've closed this. They tell you to close your tube of resin. Well, there's nothing to close it with because you've got to cut the tip off. So now I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove all this business off of here. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I got it. It's like it got everywhere but where it needed to be. I feel like I could have done just as well with a little dab of super glue on here. You know, we shall see. All right, now I'm going to clean off. Just get it back down to grade. You know, just get it kind of level again, so I can put that curing strip on there. You know, this stuff is like rubber, you know, plastic. I just want to clear an area. I'm going to put a little dollop of this resin right there in that crack, as they say, and I'm going to place the curing strip over that. Can you see all that? And then to get any bubbles out, I'm going to burnish it with this razor. There's no bubbles in there. I'm just going to let that cure, and it says to do this in the sunlight, right? So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Can you see that? Yeah. We have a perfect day to do this. Well, no harm, no foul with this resin on the windshield. We'll just cut this off of there. But this gives me an opportunity to see the substance. It's it really is like a hard plastic, you know. Probably wouldn't want this on your paint, but there's no problem with it getting on the glass. So now on a good day, they say this cures in about 15 minutes. They say if it's sunny, if it's overcast, they say let it sit for an hour at least. But I've let it sit for about 30 minutes. Now I've taken the strip off. Now I'm going to clean the rest of this off. Well, how about that? That certainly reduced the visual aspect of that. It's just a little ding now, you know. I don't see much of anything. All right. Well, I am so glad that is done. That's a weight off my mind and yet another project off of my to-do list. So I would say go either direction. I just wanted to try one of these kits and see how they worked. I'm very satisfied. As I said, a lot of people say, you know, super glue, crazy glue will do the same thing. But whatever you choose, good luck, and I thank you for watching. Be well, everyone.